Hi, everybody. Dragon folk, welcome on in. I am sorry for anything you see on this camera today. I woke up in a panic. Everything is crazy. Hold on. Let me actually fix my lighting. Maybe this will be a little bit better. Oh, it seems much better. Anyway, woke up super late today. And I come to find out that there's a lot of news today that came out for Guild Wars 2. We're gonna go over this, and we're just gonna kind of piece over the things that that kind of happen. I've yet to read this, so I'm gonna kind of read this out to everybody to see how we all see, just see what we feel about this thing. So, without further ado, let's get into it. ArenaNet Studio updates the future of Guild Wars 2. So it sounds like this is gonna be kind of a roadmap concept for this. So let's see exactly what they have in store and what we're doing. So. JT and Colin Johansson here, the studio leadership at ArenaNet. Past few weeks have been wild. Development team has poured their heart and souls into this expansion. Can't thank the team enough for their hard work, attention to detail. Okay, yes, obviously. ArenaNet, thank you so much for bringing us this fantastic game. While the end of the Elder Dragon cycle might seem like a natural movement to start winding things down, we're happy to say loudly and empathetically that Guild Wars 2 has a bright future ahead of it. Last July, we said we were making some big changes at the studio and are necessary to make our ambitious goals a reality. Since then, we've strengthened our leadership, worked to improve our communication with all of you, and shipped the third expansion for Guild Wars 2. We've also invested in major foundational long-term projects to ensure the game's future, like DirectX 11, the Legendary Armory, and World vs. World restructuring. The long-term focus is paying off. We're seeing incredible growth in the community. In fact, the number of active Guild Wars 2 players has more than doubled over the last 3 years, which is crazy because I think a lot of people just genuinely were not doing anything after Path of Fire, if I recall correctly. I was. I mean, I didn't get into it until like November of 2021, but the idea behind the game, it seemed that there was a point in which people just were not playing. This growth has helped Guild Wars 2 and End of Dragons outsell our previous expansion, Path of Fire. Not bad for a game getting ready to celebrate its 10th anniversary. How we proceed from here, how we continue this momentum into the future, is something we've been spending a lot of time thinking about. Today we are ready to talk about the next phase. However, details are best for the Guild Wars 2 leadership team to provide. For those of you who aren't familiar with them, we'll start with an introduction. Okay, so this is going to go over who's on the team. Amy Liu is our executive producer. She's responsible for the how and when of Guild Wars 2 development. Started as a game master and community manager for NCSoft in 2004. Spent 5 years working across NCSoft products. She joined ArenaNet for Guild Wars 2's launch in 2012 and has led many major projects. Amy Liu? I'm going to say it's Liu. Congratulations. Josh Grouch Davis, taking the role of game director, responsible for the what and why of Guild Wars 2 development. All right. Between Amy, Josh, and the rest of the development team, it is in great hands. You'll be hearing a lot more from going forward, while we, Colin, and JT focus on operations and high-level leadership. So 2022 and beyond. Hi all, Josh and Amy here. We're so excited to talk about what's happening for the horizon of Guild Wars 2. Grab a snack, get comfortable, and settle in for a long one. When we set out to build our plans for 2022 and beyond, we spent considerable time looking back on the last 10 years of the game's history, taking stock of where we succeeded and where we fell short. We reviewed player and press feedback, spoke to those at the studio who were here for the highs and lows, and dug into the mountains of data covering the spans of the game's operation. At the end of the process, it was clear there were two key areas we knew we needed to address as part of our plans. First, we need to prioritize delivering consistent updates to our players. The release of Guild Wars 2 End of Dragons and the resolution of a story arc that was 10 years in the making feels like a fitting time to reevaluate the overall Guild Wars 2 experience, specifically how we provide regular content updates to our players and what those updates contain. This means continuing to tell compelling stories that expand the world of Tyria while providing a better experience for those who enjoy game modes such as World vs. World, Player vs. Player, and endgame group content. Okay, so it sounds like we're getting more frequent updates. Second, it's important that our plan allows the team to maintain a healthy work-life balance. We've always believed that our top priority is the health and well-being of our employees, and we're more committed to that now than ever. This will help ensure the exceptional team behind the Guild Wars 2 End of Dragons expansion will continue to be happy at ArenaNet for years to come. Our work on this front will largely be invisible to you and will mostly be focused on improving our planning and day-to-day development process. Good to know, right? This is kind of stuff that you like to see. you like to see it mainly because of the fact that most people don't get this information, right? This is kind of like a company's white papers, right? Um, their 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 background and like what they're working on and how the company is handling itself as a company. Kind of like how everything blew up with Blizzard and all that stuff. Like that all came to fruition, and now everybody knows like the dark secrets of Blizzard. Now people, can at least see that Guild Wars, the ArenaNet team, is at least taking care of its employees to the point where they're working into better shifts and stuff like that. Okay. The Guild Wars 2 community has grown a bit over the last few years, but it could be even bigger. Now that Guild Wars 2 End of Dragons is released, one of our top priorities as a studio is getting Guild Wars 2 ready for release on Steam and introducing the world of Tyria to an entirely new audience of gamers. You only get to launch on Steam once, and we want to make sure we do it right. Over the coming months, we'll be wrapping up our work on the Steam integration, cleaning up some aspects of the early game experience, and ensuring that the game and the studio are operationally ready for a new platform launch. We are working on getting DirectX 11 ready to exit beta and make it to the default graphics setting for the new users. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, Guild Wars 2 has been running on DirectX 9 since its launch, and it is 2022 right now. So 10 years ago, 10 years, this game's been running on a old engine. Now it is getting an update. So they were in beta for a long time, kind of testing out. You could choose an option in the options menu to turn on the DirectX 11 beta. But it looks like they're actually going to make it a regular occurrence, and they're going to just turn it on completely for everybody. So it's great. We're not ready to commit a hard date for Steam quite yet, but our hearts are still set on launching this year. We'll keep you updated with things as we progress. Living World Season 1 returns. You got me up. One of the most frequent pieces of feedback we hear about the new player experience is that it's hard to get into the Elder Dragon storyline without the context of what's happening in Living World Season 1, content that was only available for a brief time in its earliest years of Guild Wars 2. So yeah, that's another thing. Living World. For those of you who don't know what a Living World season is, Living World is quite literally in between expansions. They come out with these pieces of story that you have to be an active player in order for you to get. You log on, you get the chapter, and then you can play through the chapter, and then you have to wait like 2 to 3 months until the next chapter drops. There's usually like 6 chapters-ish in a Living World, and so they just drop those as they work on new expansions. Living World Season 1 is actually not available. You can buy Season 2, 3, 4, and Icebrood Saga on the Black Lion Trading Post, or not the Trading Post, sorry, the Gem Store, but you cannot buy Living World Season 1. And I think the reason for that is because, spoilers, Lion's Arch didn't used to look like it does now. If you're in Lion's Arch, it actually used to look like something else. And the reason that they do not have Living World Season 1 available is because they can't have 2 instances occur at the same time of the same map. You know what I mean? So we're going to see what happens with that, I guess. This year, much of Living World Season 1 Scarlet's War will be making a permanent return to Guild Wars 2 through the story journal. We'll be combining our key moments and experiences of Living World Season 1 into 5 episodes that will be released throughout 2022. Our goal is to provide a cohesive bridge between the personal story and Living World Season 2 and give players the opportunity to earn many of the legacy achievements and rewards that have been unavailable all these years. The first episode, Flame and Frost, will release in April 19th, in next month. They'll release So, for those of you who have not played Guild Wars 2, I highly suggest getting on and getting this Living World season. You just have to log on and you get the chapter. So, get in here, get this chapter, because this is probably going to be costing you some money at some point later if you want to play it. Like they do with all the other Living Worlds, so make sure that you are getting it free when you can. The season will conclude with a return to battle for Lion's Arch, which will include a new strike mission and challenge mode. Okay, new strikes. We're excited for veteran players to be able to revisit the key moments of Living World Season 1 for the first time in nearly 9 years, and to give new players a better narrative introduction to the expansion and Living World content that follows it. Living World Season 1 will be a free addition to the base game for all players, including free accounts forever. So never mind what I just said earlier. Even still, I mean, you're going to want to log on, but that means that even as a free account, you are getting an entire living world for free. Fantastic. Great job, ArenaNet. That's a good call. You want that. You definitely want that for sure. Let's see. World vs. World. In the July 2021 ArenaNet Studio update, we said that we view World vs. World as a cornerstone game mode of Guild Wars 2. This statement still holds true for us, and now that Guild Wars 2 End of Dragons is released, we can further increase our support for World vs. World. Our priorities for World vs. World are largely unchanged from what we talked about in our Future of World vs. World blog post in September of last year. The amount of times I'm going to say World vs. World in this post is going to be very large. First, we're actively working on addressing population base with the World vs. World restructuring system. In the blog post mentioned above, we said we'd be taking a multi-phase approach to building the system. Still in phase 1 now, which is focused on standing up the complex back-end infrastructure for the system and refining the matchmaking algorithm. We've run multiple phase 1 betas over the past few months. We're taking a short break to release End of Dragons. We'll be getting back into it. Right now, the team is tracking down an incredibly elusive, long-standing bug that causes queues to reset and throw players back to the end of the line, something that happens more often during the highly active beta events. Second, we need to make World vs. World more rewarding for individuals. We took a small step recently by increasing the speed at which the skirmish reward track is completed, but there's much more we'd like to do, including providing better rewards for active participation. As we mentioned last year, once population base balance and rewards are addressed, our theory is that World vs. World gameplay will see a significant shift. At that point, we intend to look very hard at core World vs. World systems such as upgrades, scoring, siege, etc., and balance them to ensure that the World vs. World experience is still reflecting our vision. Speaking of balance, profession balance has a huge impact on World vs. World experience, whether you tend to play as a roamer, a havoc player, or if you choose to run with 49 or more of your closest friends. This brings into our next area of focus. So they're still changing World vs. World. I didn't know there was a huge issue with World vs. World because I don't really tend to do it. I'm going to be making more videos on World vs. World soon, though, because I'd like to kind of get my toes in the water for that. Like to kind of dip my toes in that pond and see what's going on, because I do love me some nice competitive team building exercises. So I think that definitely can work out pretty well. The profession updates. Balance and maintenance of Guild Wars 2's extensive combat system, including the latest elite specializations released with End of Dragons, is important for keeping gameplay engaging and varied across PvE, World vs. World, and PvP. Moving forward, we'll be making professions and elite specialization updates a higher priority. Our plan includes quarterly profession updates with smaller releases in between as we monitor and respond to how the meta in each game mode takes shape. In addition to the number tweaks that you're used to seeing, the team will be revisiting some underpowered and underused weapon skills, traits, or utilities for each profession in each profession update to help expand your arsenal. We'll continue to make game mode specific balance adjustments as needed. We'll be releasing some PvP and World vs. World balance changes in the March 29th update, and our first major profession update will drop on June 28th. So I'm sure there have been some complaints about people's professions, and this is what they're going to do. They're going to look into what's used, what's not going to be used, you know, because there are some healing skills that, and on certain professions and certain elite specializations that you don't use. You're not going to use like half the stuff that you get. So I think in a sense like that, it's probably a good call that they look over that and see if maybe they can like reduce the amount, or if they just like reduce the trait system, you know. Because with like 20 plus different utility skills you can use, I guarantee you're only using 5. And probably some of the best 5, right? So we'll see what they do in regards to that. That'll be kind of neat. End of Dragons continued. This month, the team is focused on polishing up Guild Wars 2 End of Dragons by addressing content balance issues, exploits, and bug fixes. Your feedback has been immensely helpful in this regard, and we're continuing to watch conversations around rewards, meta difficulty, elite specializations, and others. Please continue to share your thoughts with us and keep an eye on the forums and our social media channels for updates. Another thing for those of you who don't know, if you haven't seen my video that I'll post, I think I'll put a link to it somewhere in here. Essentially, the End of Dragon's final meta, the final map meta, is in such controversy. It's not anymore because they essentially got rid of the necessity to do it, but they did add some better rewards to it, so it's still relevant content. You know, it's all just dependent on who's on and who's doing what, right? So there was a lot of controversy around there. You can watch the video. It's kind of wild, but we'll keep going on here. We're also working on finalizing the 4 strike mission challenge modes, the first of which is slated to release on April 19th. We've already heard a lot of positive feedback about the design of these encounters, and we're excited to see the community tackle these epic encounters over the next few months. The first new variant for the Generation 3 legendary weapons for all weapon types will drop on May 24th, themed after the fearsome Elder Dragon Zaitan. Details on how to unlock these variants will become available closer to their release. Any guesses as to what second variant will be in June? Well, I mean, if they're going Zaitan, they're probably going to go Mordremoth in June. If they're just going to pump them out as necessary there, but who knows, right? But that's also kind of neat. So legendary weapons are getting essentially new variant skins. So you're not just using the Aurene weapon, you can change it to be whatever Elder Dragon you have. Finally, we're happy to confirm that we're working on the next story update for Guild Wars 2, including a new map set in the Cantha region. The story and how we tell it can go in so many interesting directions now that the Elder Dragon threat is addressed. So let's see. So the spring of 2022, we're at End of Dragons updates. Living World. Let's just look at this. Once it's loaded. There we go. So the End of Dragons update, 4 challenge mode strikes, 2 legendary weapon variants in spring. Living World History, Season 1, Episode 1, and Season 1, Episode 2. So we get 2 Living Worlds within the spring. Fantastic. Super Adventure Festival and the Dragon Bash. If you haven't got online to go to the Super Adventure Festival or do the Super Adventure Box, that is so fantastic and fun. It's odd how much of a different game this becomes when you're playing something like the Super Adventure Box. And then the gameplay systems with Professions Update and World vs. World Alliance betas. So on the 15th, March 15th, End of Dragons Polish build. On March 29th, well, that already happened, right? This March 15th update already happened. 29th, which is in 7 days, the Super Adventure Festival and End of Dragons Polish build. So Super Adventure Festival is about to happen. We'll make a video on that. Living World Season 1, Episode 1, Aetherblade Hideout Challenge Mode on April 19th. May 10th, the Junlai Jade Junkyard Challenge Mode. May 24th, Living World Season 1, Episode 2, Kaineng Overlook Challenge Mode, new legendary weapon variant. June 7th, Dragon Bash Festival, Harvest Temple Challenge Mode, and June 28th, Balance Update, new legendary weapon variant. World vs. World betas and bonus events will be announced once their dates are locked in, so keep an eye out for those, I guess. Further transmissions. We've made some significant strides over the last year when it comes to communicating with all of you, studio update blogs, live streams, roadmaps, postmortems, and more. It's been very gratifying to see all our efforts on this front received so positively by the community, but we want to do more. Moving forward, we'll be publishing a regular State of the Game blog post to keep you informed on the latest development news, address top concerns with the game and the community, and give you an inside look into the studio and the development of Guild Wars 2. The content of these posts will change with each iteration, but we will hope that they become something you look forward to reading and discussing. There's still plenty left for us to discuss. The future confirmed. One last update before we go. We're happy to confirm that there will be a 4th expansion for Guild Wars 2. We mean it when we say we're focused on the long term. This is a very early confirmation, the earliest we've ever done this, in fact, so don't expect news anytime soon. Expansions take a very long time to develop, plus there's plenty of cool things to look forward to between now and then. On behalf of the entire Arena team, thank you for your continued support. We sincerely believe that our best years as a studio are ahead of us, a new beginning that starts with Guild Wars 2, End of Dragons. Talk soon, Amy, Colin, Josh, JT, and the Guild Wars 2 team. So, That's it. That's what we got there. A lot of news that just came through. We have a new expansion has been confirmed. There will be another expansion. It's obviously, we're not going to hear anything about it for the longest time. I don't even think we're going to hear about it this year. Hell, I'd be surprised if we even hear about it next year. But new expansions in the works. Profession updates. So expect to see some changes with your favorite profession. World vs. World updates. Probably more incentive to go in there and actually do stuff like that and just like kind of enjoy the time you have there. Then you also have Living World Season 1 is coming back. Crazy. Like that's really wild news, guys, because Living World Season 1 has been inaccessible to everybody for the longest time. And so the fact that it's coming back, luckily with the Icebrood Saga, you're kind of able to live a bit of this Living World Season 1 stuff. But for the most part, it's been inaccessible to everybody who does not already have it. So now that it's back and it's going to be content that's also for free players, that's what we like to see. So that's good. New legendary weapon variants. So just new skins for the legendary weapons. I want to work on getting a Gen 3 legendary weapon, but I kind of want a Gen 1 legendary weapon first. So that's probably my next big task now that I have my sky scale done. I'm caught up on my Griffin. I'm doing my what do you call it? I'm done with the story, right? So I think just doing a legendary weapon is my next big thing. So keep an eye out for that. I'll probably be working on I know I want to work on Twilight to begin with. But I'm hoping to eventually get Eternity. I think that'd be pretty great. But we'll kind of see from there. I'll make a nice post. You can also watch all of those on twitch.tv/AshenWings. That is where I stream. I should be streaming nights now. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, I want to say. And then I might even do 4 days. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. But I'm not too sure yet. We obviously just kind of have to figure it out and go from there. But regardless, that's the new news. We got a lot of news for Guild Wars 2 today. That was a lot. I'm also looking forward to the State of the Game blogs that they have. We will be covering those as they come out, kind of give you guys more information. There's a lot going on. Genuinely, I have to say this, right? As somebody who is a Final Fantasy 14 veteran, get into Guild Wars 2, right? It's I don't know. If you don't find anything enjoyable about Guild Wars 2, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Like, truly, there is a lot to enjoy in the game. I have to say, going through the first, like, 60 levels is probably going to be a slog, but it's the same way with Final Fantasy 14, right? Final Fantasy 14, I mean, you go through the base game, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, like, how does anybody play this? Like, why are people so addicted to this? I promise you, as you get into the game and you learn more as you play, you can watch the guides that I will start to make more here. There's plenty of other guides for stuff out on YouTube as well for you to watch, and you'll get the hang of it. And when you do, I promise you're going to have a better time than you think. So anyway, that's going to be it for me today. I just wanted to talk over the stuff and like get my first initial reactions to this stuff. I'm happy to see everything's happening. I'm definitely checking out Super Adventure Festival in 7 days on March 29th. So look forward to making a video to that. It's probably one of my most what's the word? I'm most excited for it. I'm most excited for that seasonal event. So we're going to check that out and do some stuff there. Obviously, I'm going to keep making videos on stuff as we go. Hopefully, I can just get more content together and I can make more profession guides for everybody. And we'll go from there. So thank you all so much for watching. I do really appreciate your support. Please make sure to like the video if you guys enjoyed this content. And you can also subscribe as well. Also helps out the channel. We love to see that. So thank you again. Please make sure to drink your water, eat your vegetables, and don't be a dick. And go get yourself ready for Guild Wars 2. Obviously, there also is going to be on Steam. So that's not decided yet on a date, but if you want to wait till it comes out on Steam, you can do that too. But get into it now. I guarantee you're not going to regret it. So thank you again. Take care. And we'll see y'all later. Nerd out.